Well, I want to close out by giving a couple of pastor testimonies real quick, and then we're going to go eat and enjoy the game. But I want you to know that, I had some interesting experiences out there on the street, too. I've been out quite a bit, of course, handing out tracts, handing out Bibles, handing out pens. I remember the first day, it was cold, it was damp, it was raining. And I don't know, I just saw these four guys in the middle of an area where they were warming up. They all had their beers and they were all just laughing and joking and carrying on. And I said, for some reason, I just feel compelled to go up there and join the party, And so I went up there, and I didn't know how I was going to approach them, And I went up, and believe it or not, your preacher said, "Hey, dudes, what's shaking?" That's exactly what came out of my mouth. And I'm thinking, Lord, was that the right intro? And these guys just warmed up right. They thought that was the coolest thing since buttermilk. They said, "Oh, we're just having a great time." And I said, "Man, I am too. Here, I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you this souvenir like we talked about. This is a book, And they saw the Super Bowl and said, "Oh, man, this is cool." And I said, "There's only one thing, though. You're going to have to let me give you a pen and show you what it's all about." And they were like, they were all excited. "Yeah, that sounds great, man. Let us see what this..." And they were thinking football was coming, And so I started explaining all about what it meant, And they said, "Oh, the dude's a preacher." And I said, "Yeah, I'm a preacher, man. You're going to hear the whole story too, because I had them then, And they just laughed and joked, and they mocked a little bit and said, "Oh, let him preach, let him preach." And man, I started preaching, and I said, "You got to give your life to the Lord if you want to live a full life, And they were heckling more or less, and so I said, "Okay," I said, "You guys have a great time, enjoy the game, but remember that God loves you." And I just left it at that. And I looked around the corner of my eye, and they were just sneering and jeering and laughing off. One guy said, "Wait a minute, guys. Look what this says again." They got serious and started looking at it a little deeper. And I was hanging around a little bit, and they kind of got back to their jovial attitude again. But I believe that seeds are planted that way. And you never know what can happen. God can save all four of them as a result of that, in a heartbeat, if they would but ask. And then today, I had a chance to give out some materials and gave a pen to a fella and gave books to him. And then I was walking down and kept going, and then I started to give it to him again because I didn't remember who I'd given it to. And he says, "You've already given it to me." And I said, "Oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, give you another one." He says, "Oh, that's okay. I'm wearing the pen." He had it on his lapel, and he was happy that he had it. And we don't know what we're doing to touch people's lives, but God does, right? God knows what's going on. And I believe that, I heard one brother say on the way back, his brother Paul, maybe, that we were coming in, he says, "We will never know till we get in heaven what the fruits of the effort really reap." That's right. And that's true. That's true. But we need to remember that every time we plant the seed of salvation of another